Okay, so if you've been anywhere online lately, you've probably seen this word aura popping up everywhere. And people are talking about gaining or losing aura points. It's kind of funny, but also, what does it even mean? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it usually starts with something like this. You're just scrolling, minding your own business, and then bam, a post that says, having toilet paper on your shoe is a minus 3,500 aura. It's so specific, right? And you're just left there thinking, okay, what are these points, and who's keeping score?
And that's really the big question we're tackling today. What are these aura points? Why is everyone suddenly obsessed with them? We're going to break it all down for you. And trust me, this story goes from TikTok all the way back to ancient philosophers. Yep, for real.
All right, first things first, let's talk about what aura means right now, like today on the internet. Consider this your guide to the newest, weirdest vibe check out there. So even the official dictionary, Merriam-Webster, has weighed in. The slang definition is basically your cool factor. You know, that star power, that swagger. It's the energy someone gives off when they just walk into a room and own it without even trying. But here's where it gets really fun. The internet has basically turned this into a game with a bunch of unwritten rules. Like, if you stumble but save it by dropping into a perfect push-up, boom, plus 9,000 aura. But if you just trip, oof, minus 3,500. Even something small, like a cool outfit, what the kids call drip, gets you a little plus 10. It's this constant, hilarious scoreboard of your social wins and fails.
So really what we're talking about here is just charisma, or your vibe, but it's been totally remixed for a generation that grew up with video games. It's like your life has a character sheet, and every little thing you do changes your charisma stat. But, and this is the wild part, this whole idea didn't start with gaming, not even close.
Yeah, this concept of a personal vibe check, it's built on something way older, something a little more mystical. Before there were aura points on TikTok, people were talking about spiritual energy.
The history of this one word is actually insane. You start in the 1800s, where spiritualists are talking about a literal glowing energy field around people. Fast forward to 1935, and a famous philosopher, Walter Benjamin, starts using it to talk about art. And now, here we are, and it's gone viral as a score for how cool you are. What a trip.
Okay, let's stick with this Walter Benjamin guy for a second, because his idea is pretty cool. He said that a real, original piece of art has an aura, a special presence you can only feel when you're right there with it. You know, seeing a picture of the Mona Lisa on your phone is one thing, but standing in front of the actual painting in the Louvre, that feeling, that's its aura. You can't replicate it.
Which brings us to this perfect, hilarious comparison. On one hand, you've got Benjamin's aura, this deep, profound, one-of-a-kind presence of a masterpiece. And on the other hand, you have TikTok's aura, the swagger of someone who managed not to trip on the stairs. One is timeless and unique. The other, well, it can vanish in an instant.
But believe it or not, we're still not at the beginning. The story goes back even further. Before the philosophers, before the spiritualists, the word aura already existed, and its original meaning is going to surprise you.
So what did aura actually mean before all this?
Get this, it comes from the Latin and Greek words for breeze or wind. Seriously, an aura was literally just a puff of air, which is kind of perfect, right? When we talk about someone having a breezy confidence today, we're accidentally tapping into the word's original, thousands-year-old meaning. How wild is that?
Okay, so how do we get from a gentle breeze to a video game score for being cool? Well, for that, we have to look at the internet's youngest generation, Gen Alpha.
This chart is super interesting. It shows where Gen Alpha's slang actually comes from. You see bits from pop culture, social trends, but look at that one big slice. That's the one we need to pay attention to. Yeah, more than 15% of their slang comes straight out of gaming and meme culture. And that's the key. When your world is so shaped by video games, it just makes sense that you'd start talking about real-life things, like charisma, in terms of points and stats and leveling up. So it's not like this came out of nowhere. The internet just did what it does best. It took these old ideas of a presence or an emanation and remixed them for the digital age, using the language of gaming.
And this whole remix has led to one of the biggest, most specific trends we've seen in a while, something called aura farming.
Aura farming is pretty much what it sounds like. It's when people try to build up their aura on purpose. They'll do these calm, repetitive, kind of cool-looking things on camera, all to cultivate that vibe of effortless cool.
And the whole thing exploded because of one kid, an 11-year-old in Indonesia named Ryan Arkandika.
He was on a traditional boat during a race, and his job was to do this dance at the front to keep the rowers' energy up. Someone filmed it, and his moves were so smooth, so calm, so cool. The internet basically saw it and went, yep, that's it. That is peak aura.
And from there, it just went global. That dance became the aura farming meme. You had Travis Kelce doing it, racking up over 14 million views. The entire Paris Saint-Germain soccer team did a version. F1 drivers, huge YouTubers, musicians, literally everyone was copying this 11-year-old's dance to farm their own aura.
So, there you have it, the absolutely wild journey of one word. It went from being an ancient Greek breeze to a mystical vibe to a serious philosophical idea, and now it's a viral score for how cool you are. It really makes you wonder, what word is the internet going to grab and completely remix next?
Hey, if you thought this breakdown was cool, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks so much for watching.